All right, we have a huge fight card on Saturday. It's Jayo Sto Sports. Coming through is my boy Day. You already know this is a much better card than the January card, man.
Yeah,
Way
a
better,
lot better.
way better, way better. And honestly, it's just I think they just take their American cards more serious, you know? Like if it's not Abu Dhabi or say
The
maybe.
UK.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're taking their American cards the most serious. But yeah, no, four huge fights. Um, Start off with the Merab against Henry Cejudo fight. So Merab's on fire right now. Not only was he rocking, not only was he rocking Sean O'Malley's jacket in that one fight that O'Malley had, but he's on a 9-fight winning streak. So 9-fight winning streak. He obviously trains with Aljo. Haven't really seen much of Aljo in like embedded and stuff, but Merab is a beast, and it seems like he's peaking. Henry, on the other hand, he came back and he just seems much more slower. He's older, obviously, but if Merab gets this victory, that's 10-fight winning streak. He has to get a title shot, no?
Yeah, and for me, I don't even think that. I think Merab has talked himself out of a title shot because he should have had a title shot. This fight should have been for the title. There's no way Chito Vera should have jumped in for the title. But saying all this stuff about he'll wait a whole year for Aljo to get his rematch, then you can't be saying that type of stuff. That's not the stuff Dana wants to hear, Or you're beating all these top contenders, but you're not gonna fight for the title. That makes zero sense at all. But Henry Cejudo, this is a tough fight for him. I
Yeah.
think he has the advantage of being shorter than Merab. A lot of the other opponents, Merab's able to just put his head down and just spam takedowns over and over, even if they're not successful. The Jose Aldo fight, especially, where he did not land a single takedown, but just holding Aldo against the cage and having that some type of activity. Whereas Jose Aldo was just denying takedowns the whole time, got him the win. And even the Piotr Jan fight, same thing. Just this guy has so much stamina, relentless
Yeah.
takedowns, and going up to bantamweight. And now his career's at bantamweight. He's older. He's had so much time off. And the Aljo fight, he just looked hesitant. The Henry in that fight, to say Henry's going to win that fight, you'd say Henry is going to knock him out. I don't see him winning a decision. I think Merab is just going to keep that forward pressure and just take down, high pressure fight. With the fight being 3 rounds as well, it doesn't really help Henry at all. So I see Merab winning this fight by a decision. I don't see him finishing Henry, but I see him getting a decision.
Where do you see Triple C's mentality though? Where's his like he's out there acting like he fired his coach and then they're all good now. He's saying if he loses this fight 100% he's gonna retire. I think at this stage in his career he knows the end is near. The end may be this fight because you don't really see guys acting like this in training camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Plus, he has like his YouTube channel, like you know what I'm saying. He's doing like hot boxing sometimes with Mike Tyson. So it seems
mm-hmm.
like he's taking care of his life after the octagon. But I don't know. I like knowing Triple C, he's always clamoring about three gold medals, two-time champ. I don't know. Like I just feel like Merab, he's more focused. This fight is for him. And Henry's kind of just like TJ Dillashaw, right? Like you had your time now, in with the new, out with the old. We even see it with the main event, right? Topuria is a new guy. He's fresh. He's talking that talk. And Volk seems like he's kind of on the downward spiral. I think this may be Henry's last shot for a title ever. And even if he gets like dominated, I could see him just being like, yo, I'm gonna call it quits. So I actually take
Yeah,
really serious him saying that.
especially with his whole the same thing with the Triple C. His whole shtick is being a winner. So I
Yeah.
don't think he's gonna stick around to be a guy that's just losing fights, you know, and that doesn't play well into his whole character, his whole
Uh,
gimmick, and yeah, I think this could be the retirement fight for Henry, doing the thing with the coach and playing all these mind games,
yeah, come on.
doing stuff like that. I don't know. You know, I think he's trying to throw Merab off a little bit and just
Yeah, yeah,
trying to psych him out and just trying to get into the mental warfare of it. But at the same time, Henry Cejudo does have good fight IQ. So maybe he sees a hole in Merab's game that he could take advantage of, but that style is very hard to stop. It's so physical that it would be hard to win a fight against Merab without just catching him and putting him out. Marlon Moraes almost did it, but got gassed out. So,
mm,
you know, maybe Henry can get a quick knockout like he did against TJ. Come out and just go for the kill.
yeah. And you have to look where he's lined up on this card too. Like you're never gonna see Triple C fourth last person to fight. Usually is what main event, the least he's the co-main event, but fourth last fight. Yeah, it's time's running up for the guy. All right, this fight between Jeff Neal and Ian Garry. I don't know if you've seen something I seen on Twitter. Ian Garry was like out and he was like beating up on some black guy, and a lot of people were saying that was Jeff Neal. I think that was Cap though. I don't know if you've seen there was like a clip. It was like outside of a bar or something. It was like a couple weeks
No,
ago. But no, I don't think it was Jeff Neal.
man's just trolling.
Yeah,
But no,
people just
I never seen him fight. I never seen the video of him fighting.
yeah. I'm gonna have to show you that after. But yeah, he was busting some black guy down. And like everyone's like, oh shoot, is this Jeff Neal? Is this Jeff Neal? You can't really, it's nighttime, it's a black man, it could be anybody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But nah, but Jeff Neal though, man, like he looked good. I don't know if you've seen not his last fight, because obviously he got choked out by Rachmanov,
Yeah.
but he busted up Luke pretty
Luke
good.
hit
Like he's letting his hands
him
go
with
against Luke.
hit him with a million uppercuts in a row.
Oh, that was ridiculous. He was looking good. Like that's how you beat someone down who's like a contender. You want to get him out of contention, that's what you have to do.
I'm sure Luke got like a brain hemorrhage after that fight, if I'm not
Yeah, man.
mistaken.
No, he took some serious damage. Like Jeff Neal was not playing at all. Like he's busting him. He's walking by him, going to his corner, not even dapping him up or anything. It's like, yo,
Mm,
it's all about business. You know what I'm saying? But then the next fight after, like how I don't know how people could just slip like that. Great result there, and then you face Rachmanov, you miss weight and you get choked out. Just mental, man. A lot of people say it, and it's the truth. 80, 90% of this fight game of sports is mental.
yeah, but also you seen missing weight and sometimes the things outside of the cage just mess up your fight. You he had this shirt where Ian Garry was making the mugshot of Jeff Neal was from a DUI he got before the Ponzinibbio fight, and he came out and won the Ponzinibbio fight. But you know, sometimes guys just don't have the outside of the cage stuff sorted
Yeah.
out, and it affects their fight game. And it's a different mentality going into a fight with Luque versus Shavkat Rakhmonov has the Hamza energy right now, where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
young, scary guy that everyone's ducking. And so I with Ian Garry, I think it's a different mentality. I think he has there's the mentality of the man put him on a t-shirt and he's trolling. A
Yeah.
lot of people want to see Ian Garry get knocked out.
And I'm here for that too.
Yeah. I think Ian Garry is beatable. I think if Jeff Neal tags him on the chin, you can get him out of there. Uh, very accurate striker, but also sometimes Jeff Neal will go out there and look flat. You know, sometimes he'll go out there and just have a fight where he's kind of just not really pushing
Going
the
through the
pace or
motions.
doing not really doing much. So if he goes out there and lets Ian Garry dictate the pace of the fight, I think Ian Garry could win a decision. Just stay on the outside, pick him apart, and just cruise to a decision.
Yeah, Ian
But
Gary's 13 and 0. He's 6 and 0 in the 6
yeah,
and 0 in the UFC. And yeah, the thing about Ian Gary, he always wants to dish it out, right? But when things are coming at him, he can't take it. And he's a smart guy. He knows, we all know why he dropped out of that UFC card last January. He didn't want no
yeah,
confrontation. He didn't want no
yeah,
confrontation with Strickland and other guys on this card. And he's fighting on this card because he knows he's not gonna get that. Nobody's gonna come for him in the press conference, no other fighters, right? So yeah, he's still a simp to me because I
but
think
also getting kicked out the gym.
getting kicked out the gym, you know what I'm saying? Like this guy is all moving. Look how far he moved this camp. He went all the way to Brazil. Is it that serious?
Yeah, he
That's
has a lot. He has a target on his head too.
is it
Apparently,
that
Leon
serious
Edwards
going
doesn't
that far?
like him.
Yeah.
That's not
So
a good.
he's on it's not looking good for him with the peers in the UFC. They're not messing with him at all. And I think Strickland said something about like his wife being a pedophile or something. And then Gary's like, "Oh, no woman should ever be called that." Like, dude, like think to yourself, fam, look at all these cases we see in schools, like all these middle school teachers and high school teachers, the ladies, they're like
Yeah,
trying to crush all these students. Like, come on, what does that mean? That's the
yeah,
term right there for them. So you need to stop being a simp. Like
yeah.
this is real world stuff.
I think he comes off as one of those guys that tries to just be a he virtue signals, just like saying something like that, or even when he tried to act like Neil Magny was advocating for abusing children and saying
Uh,
no child ever be hit or
uh,
just a cornball, a cheese ball. And
Super.
I, I hope Jeff Neal is the one to put him out, but
Yeah,
at the same time, you can't get caught on the train of disliking someone. I will or discrediting someone's skill because you dislike them. I'll have to admit that Ian Gary has some tools that the range, good counter striker, and when he gets into the groove, he's good. But in the early rounds, like in the
he's vulnerable.
early stage of the fight, he's very vulnerable. But when he settles into the fight and he gets uh he gets his striking going, he can look very good. And a big 170er as well.
Yeah,
So he could be looking to silence some people, but who knows where his head's at? Because he's also very young, unproven. So
26.
all these things that are going through his head, young star. He's talking about he talking about becoming McGregor level and talking about something about how he fears becoming too big.
Yeah,
And I'm
he's
like,
tripping though. That's
bro,
that's
what?
that's
Like
where
you're
that's where he starts
tripping,
wilding.
homie. And I'm like, you are tripping. Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking about? You fear
yeah,
getting to like I never heard nobody say that ever.
never.
You know what I mean? And but I don't know. I think I hope Jeff Neal wins.
And
But
it's not and it's not even like you're hearing any McGregor cosigns anywhere, anyways, either. It's not
yeah, like
like
he'll like co-sign him here and there, but it's not like he's riding for him like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's not serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear that. Yeah, he's undefeated, so you can't think it's gonna be a walk in the park. But the way he be talking, I could see Jeff Neal showing him like, bro, you're facing Mandem, and we're not here for any of that. You know what I'm saying? Because if he
Yeah.
wins this fight, he's whooping on the Mandem, bro. Like we can't let that happen.
I'm
But
I'm I'm I'm, I'm calling for it. Jeff Neal, just a 3 round beatdown. Jeff Neal, 3 round decision.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see if Jeff Neal
Three
puts
three
on.
three round beatdown. Maybe Ian Gary has a good first round, and Jeff Neal just schools him the last 2 rounds, 29-28 decision. And yeah.
All right, we got the co-main event. Let's talk about this guy who never fights is finally fighting. Paulo Costa against Robert Whitaker. I think Costa's a better fighter, but Costa never fights. He didn't fight all of last year. And from 2018 to 2022, he's only fought once every year. So he rarely fights.
Mhm.
I like I wanna do you remember that fight against Yoel Romero? That was action packed.
Yeah,
We barely see this guy fight.
I
It's
I think it's I think it's
it's kind of disgraceful, man.
I think it's disappointing when you get guys like Apollo Costa that are. It seems like he's almost not serious. The guy's missing weight, uh, doing all these weird things, saying how he's randomly saying he's not fighting and he never signed to fight certain fights and a whole bunch of weird stuff with contracts. But I think that's also Dana White doing a negotiation tactic where announcing someone signed for a fight or announcing a fight is done to put pressure on a fighter
Mm.
to get them to sign. He just did it with Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis for I think it was UFC 299.
Yeah, it's not happening. That's not
No,
confirmed.
no, what happened was Dana White announced it, but they never signed officially for it yet. And Poirier said he never. So the Poirier said he never heard about it or he never signed for the fight. He never signed for it, and
Yeah,
then it got canceled. But then I guess they did whatever and fixed it up, and they offered him more money, and now it's official. So I think it's just a negotiation tactic that the UFC uses. But Paulo Costa has to get in there, and he needs a victory because he's just like almost like a Darren Till, where the character is there and they're entertaining personalities, but you got to back it up in the cage.
yeah,
His win against Luke Rockhold was impressive. Luke Rockhold was had his hands on his knees, was out of there, and it was watched, man. You got to finish that fight. The Marvin Vettori fight comes in overweight, was a good fight, but lost that by decision.
hmm,
The Adesanya fight looked looked like nothing, and I think he has to prove that he's serious this fight and get a win against the top contender to really prove himself. He has a lot of antics, and you have to be able to back it up
yeah.
because you can't get to the level where you're doing all these antics and doing all this nonsense and then you're losing fights. That's not cool. But Whitaker has something to prove as well with just getting cooked by Duplessis.
Yeah, you
He
got
got
cooked.
he got flattened by Duplessis,
Yeah,
and but I do think Paulo Costa has the style for Whitaker to
yeah,
just
yeah. Me too.
look
Because
really
Whitaker's
good to look.
reckless.
But I think Whitaker has that like I think Whitaker will just stay on the outside and just do the little jab, throw the head kicks, and just try and pick him apart, shoot the takedowns randomly, and I think he'll beat Costa by like a decision. But I
Really?
think it'll look similar to like the Marvin Vittori fight or Jerry Cannonier fight. Just I think you'll see a good Whitaker. I don't think I don't think Paulo Costa is he's really powerful, but it's like he doesn't get to land his shots. He's not good at lining up or like I don't know if the way he manages distance is not very good. He has like a awkward style where he just kind of plows forward. You know what I mean? So if you're not there to be hit, he's not really gonna hit you. Um, Paulo Costa, in my opinion, has been riding off of clout from like 5 years ago, and Whitaker is like that's Whitaker, and people forget that like Adesanya and Whitaker they're like been losing lately, but at one point 185 was literally just those two guys. So I still give Whitaker that respect, and I think he's gonna cook Paulo Costa.
Real what? Cooked? That's
I think he's gonna
wild.
cook Paulo Costa.
That's wild. Cook him?
But I think
No
also I want
way.
to see how they look at the weigh-ins. But I think Whitaker's gonna cook Paulo Costa,
What? That's
and
crazy.
I think we're gonna see a classic Whitaker go out there and cook Paulo Costa.
I don't see that. I know we barely see Paulo Costa, and I know he swings and misses a lot. But one thing, when he swings and misses, it looks wicked though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does.
So much
It does.
velocity and the way
Yeah,
he torques his body, it's like, oh shoot.
he has good technique.
Yeah, no, he has good technique, but I just feel like he has something to prove, and Whitaker's kind of fighting out of desperation. Whitaker's like he's had chances against Izzy twice. He's lost both those times. If he beat DDP, he could have got like a trilogy with Izzy, even though I don't think maybe it would have happened, but you never know. But he lost that chance. I don't see Whitaker being able to climb back to a title shot. I do see Costa though be able to climb to a title shot just because of, as you said, like he's big on clout, and if he knocks Whitaker out, you know it's going to be in spectacular fashion. He hasn't knocked anyone out in a while, but he's
Mhm.
one of those hype guys you kind of need for the division, you know? He's only fought
Yeah.
once, so maybe a rematch is brewing in the future. But they call him the secret juice, man. He's been gone for so long. Maybe he's been on some juice. Who knows?
No
Maybe
more
that's why he
USADA.
fights
No more
once a year.
USADA.
Maybe
No
that's
more
why he
USADA.
fights once a year.
Yeah.
But nah, I think Costa wins this, man. I just think that he's gonna walk down Whitaker, and sometimes Whitaker gets a little cautious. Sometimes he
Yeah.
gets a little cautious, and I think he could get cornered and then take some punches. I think Whitaker could get stopped.
His chin is shaky. I could see it being one of those where maybe he Paulo Costa just realizes that Whitaker can't really hurt him and just starts getting into that dogfight like you've seen with Yoel Romero. Because at the end of the day, Paulo Costa was willing to walk down Yoel Romero. So there
Yes,
has
and nobody does
there's
that.
yeah, there's respect to that. And Robert Whitaker went to wars with him. So like there's I think Whitaker does have that dog in him, but he just doesn't have the chin at this point. So if it gets to that point, I don't think he has the chin to go to that dogfight. But I also Paulo Costa is gonna have to prove to me that he's serious and he's gonna go out there and bring it to Robert Whitaker. I
Until
gotta see Paulo Costa go out there and really
mm,
do it, or else I could see him just being lackadaisical and doing the
yeah.
little taunts and doing that nonsense and letting Robert Whitaker cruise to a decision, and then we're talking about Robert Whitaker versus Strickland or a Robert Whitaker rematch. But also the mentality that the guy that beat you is the champion now. Like how fun is that climb back
Mm.
to the top? Think you're gonna have to go through two guys that beat you to get your belt back because I don't see him getting a title shot without beating Adesanya, and I don't see him not going to win the belt against Duplessis unless he beats Duplessis, and he got smoked by Duplessis. So that's a tough climb back to a title shot. So there's a mental hump there, but Paulo Costa is also kind of a good matchup, I guess. He has a lot of clout to his name, but
Mhm.
hasn't really done anything lately. And
Yeah,
that fight with Luke Rockhold, that if I know it was at altitude, so the
I've
cardio was
given him the
affected.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, the cardio was a factor, but man, like Luke Rockhold has his hands on his knees in front of you and you can't
Should
finish him.
be
That's a
should
bad
be
look to me,
stopping that.
Paulo Costa. Yeah, you should be stopping that.
Yeah, I can't take Costa serious until he fights multiple times in a year.
Yeah.
I think he could take this one though. And maybe it's early in the year, he wins this and he gets a title shot or he gets like a number one contender, he'll fight another time this year. So that's what we want to see. But yeah, man, the main event, Topuria versus Volk. Volk still has that belt. But we spoke about this multiple times. After someone gets a brutal knockout, they ain't the same, man. That
Mhm.
was that was a brutal knockout against Islam, took care of business, finished him, knocked his lights out. But now he's back at his actual weight. So he's more comfortable here, but he's facing somebody that's on fire, somebody that's undefeated, 14 and 0. Young, 27. And you've seen the comparisons with McGregor when McGregor was en route to winning his featherweight championship belt. They're both 14 and 0, both 6 and 0 in UFC, both 27 years old, Topuria and McGregor. So it's lining up perfectly. And I think that's kind of why Topuria has been calling out McGregor. But again, like Topuria, what he did against Josh Emmett, that was a masterclass. That was a master class. Boxed him, took him down
Bus
when he
Mitchell as
had,
well.
took him down when he had to, just beat him up. That left eye was closed shut. Tuporia's a problem. Tuporia's a problem. I think Volk is in trouble here. What do you think Volk can do for this fight to get his status back to like top pound for pound guy?
I think to go out there and handle him like he did Yari
Yeah, yeah,
Rodriguez
yeah.
needs to give one of those performances because I don't know. I think sometimes like I'm not trying to diss man's for crying, but I think when you see someone like go through the motions like that and like Volk talking about like how depressed he gets when he's not fighting and how he was drinking the whole week before the
Why do
Islam
people
fight.
say that? That's so lame.
Like I don't like when I hear that stuff and then you see someone who's like you see Topuria has the Georgian fans and the Spanish fans. He's a star in Spain. The millions followers on Instagram. Like he has
Yeah,
clout and the confidence is there and
yeah.
the skill set is there. It's not like a Patty Pimlet where the trash talking is there, the character is there, but the skills don't really match up.
Mm.
Topuria, this is the I feel like the first time in a good little while where the skills has matched the trash talk. Even though he looked shaky against Jai Herbert, where he ate the head kick and wobbled a little bit, but came
Mm.
back and knocked the hell out of Jai Herbert.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it knocked the hell out of him, and uh, the he has missed weight in the past. I'm pretty sure. So that's a little bit shaky, but this is a championship fight. I think he's focused. All the things are there for him to be confident to win the fight, especially with Volk coming off of a big knockout against Islam, and who knows where Volk is at mentally. You know, without this fight, he's the featherweight goat. You know, this fight would just kind of be the icing on the cake at featherweight,
Yeah.
but I think Volk is probably focused on at this point of his career where he's at is just doing whatever is left at 155. I don't
Nah,
it
155.
even
He can't go up, but he can't go back up there, man.
I think that outside of this, like what's left? Outside of this, what's like maybe chase an Islam rematch or chase something at 155? Because what are you gonna do? Fight Max Holloway again? Or if he beats Topuria, I think he should call it a career or see
The
what
end
fights
is
are
near.
left at
The
155.
end is probably near then. The end is probably near. You can't, there's no way he's gonna fight Islam again. He's just gonna get dealt with.
Or maybe like a Justin Gaethje, like those or Poirier fight. There's
Yeah,
interesting fights at 155 that are I see make more sense than to keep defending the belt at 145. Even if it's even a Max Holloway rematch makes more sense at 155 in my opinion. Even with Max Holloway fighting Justin Gaethje, I think everything makes
but
more sense
even
at
fighting Max
155.
again, regardless if it's different weight, it's just like we don't want to see that. Like you lost him every single. Holloway lost him all three times.
Yeah,
So
true.
regardless if it's 155, 145, it's kind of like, is that a rivalry if you never won? But
Yeah,
I do like that those kept maybe like a catch weight against a Gaethje or we'll see, but I don't think like the matchup against Islam is just too difficult. It's just too much to handle. I think a Gaethje fight makes sense, but I don't
but
think
the first fight was really
I,
good. The second fight was on such short notice. Man's also forget that.
I
There
understand.
there's like I think there's a case for Volk to have a proper like camp to go into that fight.
But
It's
don't you think
especially if he wins this fight. I think there's a good case for that. You
I
know, he's what champion have we seen that's and regardless of if you say however the matchup went, what champion have we seen that will any champ that does the double champ talk, they go up and they defend the belt, and then the belt that was in the previous division gets disregarded. He's the only champ in recent memory where their goal that has been double champ and didn't vacate the other belt. So I think just based off that respect and getting all the clout that he has at 145, if he wants, if there's so many fights that I think guys get that they don't deserve. If Volk beats the Topuria, I think he can get whatever fight he wants at 155, respectively. Saving the card against Islam, uh, he definitely deserves a full camp to prove himself at 155.
I don't know what regardless short notice, like you're still gonna get judged on the results, right? He got absolutely smoked. But yeah, maybe with another full camp, like maybe it'll be better, but I can't see that. And I just look at it, it's gonna be tough, like going up all the time. Like usually that first fight when you go up is your best fight. And then after that, it's like it's just tough. Because you remember DC, I think DC's first fight against Stipe, he won, right? And then the two
Yeah,
times,
knocked
and
him
then
out
the two
cold.
times after, yeah, then the two times after he
And
lost.
then he had the Derek Lewis, but that Derek Lewis fight was
That was kind of,
washed away.
yeah, that, yeah, exactly.
And then he got cooked by the Steve. What's crazy about the second Stipe fight was he was doing good, and then he just fell off a cliff. And then the third fight, he was just completely washed. But to
He was
say
watched
the
and he took a nasty eye poke, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and but
So
the Volkanovski fight, I could see Topuria finishing Volkanovski.
me too.
I I want to give Volkanovski his respect, but
I
after the brutal knockout like that, and then
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the confidence is there for me. It's a different
I
Volkanovski. He was like an Iron Man to me before that fight. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that fight made me lose all respect for him, but before that, he had this like unbeatable like aura to me. You know, even with the decision loss for the first fight with Islam, like he still had like this unbeatable aura to me, cooking Yair Rodriguez. But that was a bad knockout. And Topuria is talented, fast, and he
yeah,
can grapple. It's a scary matchup for
he could do
Islam or
everything.
for Volkanovski.
His leg kicks are good. He could grapple. He's younger. And he's calling out guys. Like he's not scared to talk. He's calling out McGregor. He wants to fight McGregor in Madrid Stadium, Santiago Bernabeu. He has, as you mentioned, he has a Georgian and the Spanish fans. When he fought Josh Till, thing was there. Sergio Ramos was front row. So he has guys that are rolling for him, that are riding for him. And what I think Volk should have done, what his buddy Izzy's done. Like these guys have been fighting over and over, defending their belts, going up. Izzy took a L recently and he's taking some time off. I feel like Volk, I know he loves fighting and that's all he does, but when you're constantly going in the gym hard all the time, it takes a toll on you. He got knocked out, and sometimes you just need to take a step back and take some time off like Izzy, but he still wants to go at it and he's going at Topuria. Topuria's in form. I got Topuria winning this, man. I got Topuria
Yeah,
winning this. I think he's the hot man right now, you know? So you already seen an
one hundred
embedded he
percent.
was wearing. You already seen an embedded he was wearing Volk's belt. I was like, damn, this is gonna get crazy.
But I seen there's a curse. You seen that curse of men that try to touch the belt
Yeah,
before they But
yeah.
who knows? McGregor did it and knocked Aldo in a few seconds. So
Yeah.
I'm seeing to talk about what you're reference what you're talking about before with
Yeah, the
all the
comparison.
things lining up. Yeah, all the
Yeah, it's
comparisons.
just
So
lining up perfectly, him and McGregor.
and
So
a featherweight
that's
goat. So
yeah. Yeah, but before we end off here, Jayo Sto Sports, we still don't have, and I just want you to whatever comes to your mind right away, quickly. No main event for the UFC 300. Name a couple notable matchups that you think make sense for that slot there.
Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, me too. I think
Uh, I think you could do Adesanya versus Pereira just
that.
just because. And I think you can rush the Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor matchup
Hmm.
forward.
So I was seeing a lot of Hamzat in that main event, like on social media. Do you think he deserves a main event for the UFC 300?
No, I don't
He
think
doesn't
there's
deserve
any.
it.
I don't think that doesn't even make sense to put over the
Allah.
not even that the Gaethje versus Holloway fight is on that card. No,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way. There's like to me, there's no way you can put Hamza in a
Nah,
slot.
he's not
And if you're
reliable
gonna,
enough.
yeah, and if you're gonna put him in the main event, it has to be for a belt. So
Facts.
I don't think he's earned it at 185. And if he at 170, I don't trust him to make that weight.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. And that's all we have is Jayo Sto Sports. My boy Dede came through. Y'all subscribe, y'all
See.
like, y'all share. We out.